So Vulture's getting in, sneaking right by, putting a few mines in. Tanks are going to be able to push up into the main. Dragoon's trying to fend off those mines, and this is looking really bad for Best because Vultures are all in his probe line now, and he's having to fend off the Vultures and the tanks. He's ignoring the tanks. He's just going straight for the Vultures. Probe's coming off the line to kill the Vultures. Wow, all the Vultures go down, so that is good for Best. Best does have the Reaver now. It's going to be able to fend off the tanks. So Best is actually doing a really good job of fending this off, considering the situation. That one mine going to get a hit off on those Dragoons. But Best does have his Reaver out, and he has 4 Dragoons out, so Light's going to have to back off. But in the meantime, Light is now expanding. So Best is going to try to counter and do what he can with this Shuttle Reaver combo to see if he can affect some damage on Light, because otherwise, again, he's just going to be containing this base by all those tanks. And it does look like a second Reaver out now, so Best is actually in really good shape considering the way it looked in the beginning. Best is going to go ahead and do this expansion. There's already a turret up. That's going to fend off that shuttle. Best is just going to try to look for a weak spot here, it looks like. See if he can drop. Wow, that shuttle taking a lot of hits, almost going down. Wow, that was really close. And that shuttle is now going to have to run off. The shuttle speed has been upgraded, so Best is going to be a little more effective with that shuttle. And there's even mines on the map everywhere, so that's going to be scouting. Wow, one Dragoon goes down there to the mine, a little careless by Best. Best doesn't have observers out just because of the speed of that 2-fact push, getting all his mines out so quick. Best has yet to have his observer up because he was too busy building a shuttle and a Reaver. So it's definitely an uphill struggle for Best, especially now that shuttle's been damaged, and Best hasn't done any economic damage at all to Light. So, and he doesn't even have his expansion up. So pretty soon it's going to be two Terran expansions, or 2 Terran bases versus 1 Protoss base, and that's not where you want to be at as a Protoss player. You want to be even 1 base ahead of the Terran, certainly at least even, and he's not going to be even at all right now, so he's got to do some damage with this Shuttle Reaver. If he doesn't do the damage with this Shuttle Reaver, that's going to be the game. He's looking around for a place to land, but there's just siege tanks everywhere and turrets everywhere, and Best is just looking like he's in a bad position right now. He looks like he's going to go in. No, there's a turret there. He sees the turret. He backs off. Observer's now up for Best. Best is going to try to take his expansion, but it's such a late expansion that I still think that if Best doesn't enact some kind of damage here, he's still going to be in trouble in the long run because he's just going to be behind economically to Light. Best still moving around that shuttle. Looks like Light's finally spotted that pylon that's blocking that other expansion over there. I guess that wasn't the natural expansion. I still haven't seen where that's at. Okay, it's up there in the top right. I don't know why Best made that there, except for scouting purposes, maybe just to see if dropships or something come out. But Best, meanwhile, has put up his second expansion. This is an aggressive move by Best, but he feels like he has to put up another expansion because he knows he's going to be economically behind if he doesn't out-expand the Terran. And however, there's a big window here of time that he's got to wait for those expansions to get up, and if Light chooses to push in the meantime, that's going to catch Best off guard, and he's going to pay for putting up that second expansion. It looks like one tank going up carelessly. I don't know what that tank's doing. That tank must have been rallied to that front there or something, because that was a waste. And we can see now Light putting up 2 armories, going to go for those double upgrades. This is kind of the Flash maneuver. Flash likes to do this a lot. Just get those quick double upgrades for your ground weapons and armor, and that makes them just so much more effective against all the other forces, the Dragoons and everything. Looks like Best's going to go in here. He's still trying to harass with this shuttle because he knows he needs to. Just so far hasn't been effective. We'll see what he tries to do there. Meanwhile, pushing out with a few Dragoons, just clearing some mines. He doesn't want those mines to be spotting what he's doing. Light is playing defensively right now because he's waiting for that expansion. And he's trying to just get that full. Well, he has expansion up. He's just trying to get that full economic advantage from that expansion. And I think he's going to push out. He's also putting up some extra factories. So I think once he gets those extra factories, gets a critical mass of tanks and Vultures, he's probably going to push with those forces on Best. Best, meanwhile, has got the Citadel of Adun. That might just be for Zealot legs, most likely, at least initially, just because you need those Zealot leg enhancements to get the Zealots up on the tanks. Otherwise, you really can't kill a large number of tanks. You've got to have Zealots and Zealot speed. You can drop on the tanks, but unless you have a lot of shuttles, you're still going to need that Zealot speed. So that's probably what that's up for now, and then later, perhaps, if the game goes far enough, he could get a Templar Archives up and get some Arbor, or maybe some Dark Templar, but for now, it looks like he's just getting that leg enhancement. The longer this game goes, the better chance Best does have, because he does have that second expansion up, so he is up on expansions against Protoss, but he's still largely behind just because he hasn't inflicted any economic damage, and he was basically slowed early on in getting those 2 expansions. So even though Lights hasn't pushed out up until this point, he still has a huge critical mass of tanks right now. It's still going to come down to micro. And here's the cracks I'm talking about. If he just sieges on that one side, it looks like he's not going to. Yeah, he is going to siege right there. So you can see how those Dragoons are not going to be able to go in because they can get those first few tanks perhaps, but they can't surround, they can't get in on those other tanks that are just on the other side of that crack. Best smartly put up a few pylons to block this second expansion so that those vultures can't get through. Vultures trying to shoot at the pylons, but it's going to take him a while to kill that off. Best now coming in with the Reavers, just killing those vultures. He doesn't want those vultures to get in. He needs those expansions. Light is going to continue this push smartly as he does see that extra expansion. He knows that it's right now he's in the lead, and if he waits any longer, he may not be in the lead. Wow, a lot of Dragoons going to get hit by these mines. That's not good for Best. His observers must have been out of position there, and it looks like, wow, Light has moved in here into the natural expansion of Best. A ton of tanks of siege now. Best is trying to come in with his reinforcements from the north, but there's a lot of mines stopping the way, and wow, the shuttle goes down with both Reavers. I've got to say, that is going to be game for Best right there. Best isn't necessarily going to GG just yet, but that's going to be game. There's no way that he can do it with his force on the ground. He desperately needed those Reavers to do that critical damage, and now tanks being able to siege the Dragoons. Dragoons trying to come in, Best trying to get a little surround. He has his Zealot speed. He's going in, he's surrounding. He's got the Dragoons in the north, he's got the Dragoons on the south, but just so many tanks. And there's GG from Best. Best had a Dragoon-heavy army, not enough Zealots, and just too many tanks. Overall, Light did an awesome job putting on the pressure on Best early with that 2-factory build, getting those tanks in early, stopping Best from getting the expansion, and then from there it was just an economic lead, and Light, with the economic advantage, was just able to power through and amass up a larger army of tanks to just defeat Best. So, well played by Light. It is a very Terran-heavy favored map, but with that said, Light did a great job of throwing off his opponent by going for the 2-fact instead of just the standard maybe of expanding on that map because it is easy to expand to. He went for the 2-fact, put a lot of pressure on Best, stopped Best from getting that expansion, and gotta say, there's not much Best could do. Best lost his shuttle too, and that was a critical moment. And now we're gonna have to go on to Game 5. It's now tied up 2-2 MBC and SKT, so let's go to Game 5.